All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you're an early stage founder right now, the 2026 startup ecosystem can feel, frankly, incredibly daunting. There's just so much going on. So today, we're going to decode that overwhelming funding environment and really transform it into a clear, actionable strategic playbook. We're stepping away from all the chaos and building a direct, logical path to help you scale your vision.
To do that, here is our roadmap. We'll start by tackling the wall of noise, then define the actual startup tools at your disposal. After that, we'll build your decision-making framework, navigate the unique 2026 landscape, unpack the founder's strategic playbook, and finally, wrap up with your immediate action plan.
So let's kick things off with Section 1, the wall of noise. Before we even think about building a strategy, we need to validate exactly how you're probably feeling right now trying to get your company off the ground. It's just a wall of noise. I mean, when you're constantly hearing about accelerators, incubators, government grants, angel networks, and venture studios, it usually leaves founders feeling completely blasted. It's honestly the default feeling in the startup world today. So if you feel like you're just staring at endless disconnected options without a map, you are definitely not alone. But, we can't just stay stuck in that confusion. Our whole goal in this explainer is to cut straight through that noise and replace it with a focused, highly effective strategy. Success today means knowing exactly how to pick the right resource for the specific stage your company is at, and more importantly, understanding how to actually leverage it for tangible growth. Moving right along to Section 2, defining the startup tools. Okay, before you choose a path, you absolutely must understand what the vehicles actually are. Let's look at the classic difference between an accelerator and an incubator. Think of an accelerator as a fast-paced boot camp. It's usually 3 or 4 months designed purely for speed and scaling an idea that already exists, usually ending in a big pitch day. On the flip side, an incubator is a much slower, more open-ended environment. It's really focused on hatching an idea from scratch. They serve entirely different stages of your startup's lifecycle. The crucial thing here is understanding the distinct trade-offs of each tool. Accelerators give you seed capital and a great network, but they're going to demand around 3 to 8% of your equity. Incubators might just charge you fees without taking a slice of your company. Venture studios, they'll actually embed their own engineers and marketers right into your team, but in exchange, they're taking a much larger equity stake. And then, of course, you have grants. These are the magic words, non-dilutive funding. You get the capital to support your R&D, and you keep 100% of your ownership. Knowing exactly what you're sacrificing for growth is the absolute foundation of your strategy. But hey, never underestimate the human element in all of this. Did you know mentored founders actually achieve 3 times better outcomes? It's wild. Investor networks and accelerators provide what we call smart capital. It's not just a check, it's their expert advice, their massive Rolodex of connections, and their credibility transferring directly to you. Honestly, this is often the most valuable part of the entire exchange. All right, on to Section 3, the decision-making framework. I want you to actively play along with this thought experiment right now. Think about your startup today. What is your single undeniable need? Is it just raw cash to keep the lights on and survive? Is it expert guidance because you're totally stuck on product development? Or is it the network you need to reach those crucial first major customers? You really have to identify that one critical bottleneck, because your answer dictates your path entirely. This is the priority matrix. Every single day, you are weighing capital, network, and mentorship against your willingness to part with your equity. If expert guidance is your absolute top priority, then trading a little equity for a top-tier accelerator makes total sense. But if you fiercely need to protect your equity and simply need cash to fund some heavy research, well, you should be hunting exclusively for non-dilutive government grants. Your number one need dictates the tool. And remember, actually, scratch that. It's crucial to remember. This answer might completely change in 6 months. That brings us to Section 4, navigating the 2026 landscape. 60%. Let that sink in. A staggering 60% of Y Combinator companies this year are expected to be AI-focused. This single statistic is a massive flashing sign showing exactly where the gravity of the market is pulling right now. We are seeing these major, specialized accelerators popping up exclusively to fund and support AI companies. So what does this mean for you? Well, because the generalist programs are leaning so heavily into AI, you must be incredibly targeted. If you're an AI founder, you're looking at places like Excel and Google Atoms. But if you aren't building the next big AI model, you need vertical-specific programs. If you're in health, look at Halcyon. If you're specifically in mental health, look at SeedSpot. You have to find those niche programs that are explicitly searching for your exact type of solution. Okay, let's level up with Section 5, the Founder's Strategic Playbook. This is where it gets really fun. It's fascinating how we can elevate those foundational choices into pro-level advanced tactics. You can dramatically extend your runway using what we call the stacking strategy. Basically, you don't just pick one route. You pair an equity-based accelerator, which gets you the network and that vital seed money, with massive, non-dilutive resources. For example, imagine securing $150,000 in Azure and OpenAI credits from Microsoft, and then stacking that with $200,000 in cloud credits from Google. You're literally stacking these resources to artificially inflate your runway without giving up a single extra percentage of your company. It's brilliant. And that brings us to an incredible pro move, all about timing. If you time your VC pitch right after announcing a major grant win, let's say something like the Braze Tech for an Equitable Future grant, you are leveraging that external stamp of approval. Think about it. A major grant tells venture capitalists that a serious, rigorous organization has already vetted your idea and put money behind it. You walk into that pitch room with massive leverage to negotiate a vastly superior valuation. Now, we've got to talk about the traps where this playbook can go completely wrong. Fatal flaw number 1. Chasing the brand name. Please beware of chasing a shiny logo just to slap it on your startup's website. You have to verify if the program actually offers structural support for your specific industry. We see founders get in, give up a chunk of equity, and then just suffer through incredibly generic mentorship and terrible post-program support. Don't let vanity drive your strategy. And then there is fatal flaw number 2, the grant timeline trap. Look, government and foundational money moves at a snail's pace. It just does. Don't let slow grant payouts kill your startup because the cash finally arrives 3 months after you've emptied your bank account. The solution here is to build a blended capital stack. Mix in venture debt or revenue-based financing to bridge that cash gap and keep the lights on while you wait. Simply hoping the check arrives in time is not a funding strategy. A blended capital stack is. Finally, let's bring it all home with Section 6, your immediate action plan. Let's wrap up this explainer by giving you some hyper-specific marching orders. I really want you to follow these 3 precise steps to stop endlessly reading blog posts and start taking strategic control of your future. Step 1, open a doc and be brutally honest with yourself. Write down your number 1 undeniable need for the next quarter. Step 2, based entirely on that need, create a custom shortlist of just 3 to 5 laser-focused programs. And step 3, reach out to an alumnus. And I'm telling you, step 3 is literally the ultimate cheat code. Reach out directly to program alumni to hear about their actual experience. Send a quick DM, ask for just 15 minutes of their time. This is exactly how you bypass the polished marketing copy and get the absolute unvarnished truth. Ask them bluntly, did the program actually help you raise your next round? Was the mentorship real or was it just fluff? So I want to leave you with this final critical thought. Which specific tool are you going to leverage today to cut through the noise and scale your vision? Armed with this matrix and this playbook, what is the single most important move you will make right now to transform your startup's trajectory? Don't let the ecosystem overwhelm you. Choose your tool, make your move, and go build something amazing.
Hello, happy Thursday. Glad to be here. It's been an interesting week so far with all the startup activities. How many startup activities have you been involved with this week? So I had an entrepreneur meeting on Tuesday. What else did I do? Had one this morning, talked with a lot of founders, and back here today. Just got out of the networking with a couple of founders, and so all these touch points, you share information and learn stuff to kind of keep you moving forward, and that's really the key to keep your mind engaged and keep you excited about what's going on in the startup world. It's just, for me, it's like never ending. I also got a couple of interns and been working with them, and they're really building stuff, to help our founders out. One of them is building a kind of a minimum AWS stack for startups and small businesses. And the other one is building a cybersecurity kit, for startup founders. And that's one of the things we do here at the Cocoa Institute. We leverage all the programs to help us build capacity to serve the founders and also help us do our workforce stuff. And we leverage AI pretty heavy for all of that stuff. So that's what we're here to help founders. Like the interaction today with founders was really interesting. Probably talked to like 10 or more different founders at all different stages, all looking for something different. It's just even amazing. I met a couple that had flew up from Orlando and got a lot of stuff going on, some really neat AI stuff. Met another lady that she's working with AI to help folks in the community. I mean, just so many things that founders and small business owners are trying to do. Ran into a lady today that's she makes tortillas from corn. It's gluten free, and so she's in a kind of cooperative kitchen, and she's ready to expand out and met folks that want to do nonprofit work. I mean, just the list just goes on, and so all these folks out there, they're looking for ways to grow their business and get connected to the right resources to kind of help them move forward. Tomorrow morning, I got a offsite with the chamber board, and I got to do a presentation about our innovation, entrepreneurship, and startup stuff. Yeah, it's just nonstop tomorrow afternoon. Got the Pensacola Network. Well, we're going to be talking about some workforce stuff with Dr. Marcus McBride. So it's just my life is workforce and startup founders, and so that's I love it because I want to help people learn how to use tools to help them grow, achieve their goals, and so on and so forth. So tonight is again about you all, and I do have a guest for next week, so be prepared for that. So that should. But tonight, I always got something to share. There's never any shortage of information to share, and I'm always learning. Just like everybody else. So, but tonight, like this is again your chance to ask questions. I have some things I'm going to share. So the more you engage with the Cocoa Institute, the more we can help you out. You will be literally shocked at the tools we got in our tool chest to kind of help you move forward. But you have to engage, and we had 3 or 4 people sign up for our program today, our Founders Insight program. All you have to do is go to apply.cocoainstitute.org, and it takes less than 2 minutes to fill out the form, and you're in like planned. So it's literally that simple, and we literally help you move forward. So I will be sharing some information about what you get, just so you better understand it. And this is just the front door. It's not all the back office stuff that we can help you with, but it requires you to engage. And I don't know if you understand what that means, but you ask and you'd be surprised what we might be able to help you with. So that's the kind of the thing there. So like I said, it doesn't matter to me what kind of business you got. It doesn't matter how good your idea is or how fantastic your idea is. whatever you need help with, and wherever you're trying to go. So I paid my dues. I spent a whole career developing technology with the government, so I know a lot about technology development. I level 3 certified in the LEANSTACK coaching method, but LEANSTACK is a bunch of tools that you use to build your startup, and so and what I like about that particular tool is it's structured like the work I did in the government. You had to pitch your ideas for some new technology or something you want to create, and in order to get funding, and just like the growing a startup, you have to pitch, and pitch literally means communicating, your business model in order to see how, so folks can understand it, and there's a lot of things involved, and so I have to catch myself being an engineer, even like the term demand validation, that so all that means is, like I said in this slide, it's like literally just validating what customers want. You think you may be an expert on what customer want, but you say one thing, you think a certain thing, but you got to understand what does that potential customer hears. And so, it's not how you think, it's what the customer hears based off what you say. And you can use AI to reflect that back to you too. So that's one neat thing about that. Yeah. And so, one lady, she was looking for some funding today, and to expand her business, and she was getting turned down in a whole lot of places, but she wasn't familiar with the lean canvas, or how do you talk about your business in a way that people can understand. And so that's why we're here every Thursday night for the past over 6 years now. We missed one Thursday night event in 6 years. We've been doing about 48 events a year. And so, and we're here just so you can understand the whole process of leveraging the ecosystem and growing the leverage ecosystem to help you grow your startup. It's a process. So you need to design a business model. You need to learn how to pitch it, and also launch it and make money. And so you leverage all this, kind of help you can recruit co-founders, mentors, and partners. Man, partners are great. Like I got those 2 interns building stuff for founders right now, and they're both working 20 hours a week building stuff. But Florida Atlantic University is paying for it through a multi-million-dollar grant that they acquired. And so, so helping founders understand the startup milestones, the life cycle, and all of this stuff, you can unlock the resources and know how to engage with the ecosystem. And shout out to all the folks that helped us in the past 6 years and help us increase our capacity to kind of keep moving forward, and our financial sponsors, and they did everything from pitch competition to sponsoring the training programs that you get. So we've created a lot of stuff, just based on the support from these different companies, and so all of our training is based off the LEANSTACK and startup science, and we've evolved into our own founders insight way we work with founders. But you have to engage with us in order to get access to that. And we're partnered with Make Startup that does this co-founder OS. And so, so it's nonstop. So one of the things I want to talk about today is what you get in the prompt package, but I can hold off on that. If you got any questions, just put them in the chat. And so that's one thing. Every week we're here, you can ask any question you want. It doesn't have to be about the topic we're doing. Just feel free to ask, because that's what we're here for. And what's important about that is, so in your community where you live, do they have an events that you can go to on a Thursday evening to help grow your business? And so that's the void we're trying to fill here, that, if they don't have an event in your area that normally happens on these Thursday nights, that's what we're here for, to kind of fill the void. But it's your chance to ask questions. If you don't ask, you don't get to move forward with what you're doing. So I'm here like a thinking partner, and I can help you understand how to use AI as a thinking partner. But one of the things that happens when you enroll in our Founders Insight program at apply.kakuainstitute.org, kakuainstitute.org, you can see the logo there on the slide. So apply.kakuainstitute.org. It's just it's that straightforward. And I'm going to talk about some of the things you get when you enroll in our Founders Insight program. And this is just a graphic, to what I did was, for this graphic, I put our business model design prompt in there, business model design, demand validation, and marketing prompt in there. It's a 27-step prompt. I put Lanika prompt in there that creates your own personalized Lanika prompt. I put some, I guess you would call them reflection prompts in there that would give you access to. See, is there anything else in there? Yeah, but that's and just so you kind of help you understand what you get when you join our program. And so this graphics got a lot of stuff on. I use Notebook LM and I put the details. So, but you see this title, Lanika method, and so so these are the 5 meta rules of Lanika, and so the purpose of these rules and the purpose of this method and Lanika, we got started with her, and this is pretty much what she explained on how she analyzed things. It's just her nature on, she doesn't take anything for granted. Like her dad said, you can't bullshit Lanika. So that's what this thing is doing. So it makes the AI check itself over and over again. The verbose discovery, and I'll share some which will help you understand that. It iterative thinking. It doesn't just accept one answer. It keeps thinking about it, and so it's in context, continuity, and personalization bias, and that's pretty interesting. And here's the engine down here at the bottom that sort of kind of explains it in a little bit more detail. But I got what do you call it, a slide deck that can go into more detail. But when you run our 27-step prompt, business model design, demand validation, it literally uses this Lanika method in analyzing all the stuff in here. And so in stage 1 of the business model design, it literally goes out and with the industry, find the industry, all the stakeholders, and find all their pain points. And so imagine you prompting, and if the AI is not familiar with your industry and all the pain points, how are you going to get a good answer from it? So that's the basis of our business model design prompt. And then, so whatever your business idea, it finds 10 to 15 ways you can actually make the ways you can make money with it, where a lot of people only think about 1 or 2 ways to can make money, but the AI researchers, finds the top ways you can make money solving those pain points, and on and on. So it's not a trivial thing. So, but it just makes all the difference in the world. And I could go on and on, but I think it's probably better to kind of let you see some of the stuff in more detail. But so when you join our program, you get actually some interesting tools, and don't take for granted you know how to use them. That's why you should engage and ask questions, just because these prompts are really powerful, and there takes some time to understand all the ways you can actually use them. So just remember that when you're when you're prompting and doing stuff. Yep. So any questions so far in the audience there? I'm going to pull up a show, run through a little briefing real quick about what's in that prompt package. Let's see if we can find what I want to share here. And yeah, so like I said, this is the Notebook LM. And this is a paid version of Notebook LM that allows you to do a little bit more different things. But anyway, I have the business model design prompt in there. I have the sheet that lists all the prompts that it contains and how to use them. This is I didn't use this particular document to do, but it's all about the business model design. Then have the Leanika method to personalize and get your own Leanika prompt here. And then I have these reflection prompts here. And then, oh no, this is the one where if you don't have a prompting history, that generates how you generate your Leanika prompt. This one is the reflection prompt. And to do no, well, we'll see. I'll show you once you get on here. But the first thing I wanted to do is, and I just did this today just so I could synthesize, because I don't think people realize what they can actually get when that. So I use Notebook LM to kind of help synthesize the information and explain it, because it actually can explain it better than I can. But this slide deck, it covers the thing. So if I were you, I would pay close attention to this, because it's not going to be what you actually think. So it says building a cognitive engine for business design, demand validation, and hyper-personalization execution. So execution is you use this with your prompting every anytime you do something with your things. I use my Leanika prompts to analyze it, because I don't necessarily believe anything the AI tells me. I double check and triple check everything, and that's what the Leanika system helped me do. So this is describing the Leanika system. It's 5 principles: deep reasoning, expand behavior patterns, not just surface level summary. So it literally goes in and finds the surface patterns, the hidden patterns, and whatever you have it analyze. You can have it analyze a drawing, you can have it analyze a spreadsheet, you can have it analyze a website. I mean, anything. You can have it analyze the entire chat thread. You can have it, and you can have it analyze your entire prompting history. Whatever you want it to analyze, you can do that. And the reason why you do it, because you want to understand the patterns, and you want to understand what is this information, and is it useful? Is it useful to me? Yeah. And so this iterate thinking, forcing the system to ask, if this is true, what does it imply about how they operate? So it comes up with a result, and then it analyzes the results before it actually presents it to you. context continuity, detect and reference patterns across time, not just isolated single-use prompt. Standard artifacts. Yeah, it literally produces documents, whatever it thinks you might use. It produces prompts. It produces systems of prompts. I mean, yeah, it just depends on what your goal is, and then it actually preserves the stuff. Right now, I have my Linux prompt actually creating documents and storing them for me, so I don't have to do all the copying and pasting. So I just want to make sure, are there any questions from anybody? That's what I'm here for. And so so that's kind of a high level, and then this is just another way to look at some of the other prompts that we have the Linux system embedded in there. The business model design, demand validation, and marketing prompt. It has the personalization layer, stage-specific situational prompts unlock the founders on demand. And then this is my favorite thing, using AI as a mirror to reflect on things, see the tension between me and the founders I'm coaching. It's yeah, and then they're blind spots. I think most of us don't realize we have blind spots. So it does blind spot detection. That's the and so you hear people say, some people use AI like a vending machine or like a Google thing. That's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to show you how to use AI in the right way. So this particular side, things are starting to get a little interesting now. So pay close attention. Yeah. So business model design, if you can't communicate how you make money with your business idea, you're dead in the water. Demand validation, mapping jobs to be done, hiring and firing criteria and trade-offs. That's the Kano model. And crafting an irresistible sales pitch, and LEANSTACK calls that a monthly offer. And translating these customer forces that you get in demand validation, so into sales funnel, marketing copies, A/B testing. Yeah, and so that's where so this is talking about a business model, design, demand validation, this 27-step prompt. So you put your business idea and industry in it, you come out with this marketing stuff. And this is going down into phase one of it. It's literally going to stress test your business idea. And have you ever heard of prompt automatically going in there and finding all these things out about your business idea? All the feasibility testing. Yeah, just all these artifacts it creates. Okay, and then getting into the demand validation. These customer forces, that if we don't learn anything else tonight, just kind of start researching what these customer forces are. You start understanding these hiring and firing criteria and trade-off stuff, because that's the thing that's going to get you your sales pitch, to teach you how to sell whatever you got. I had the founder today. He's got an unbelievable AI product. Unbelievable. It'll literally blow your mind. But he's having trouble selling it. And that's what these customer forces and stuff give you. So if you skip demand validation, you out there taking chances, and so these are some artifacts you get out of there. This 5P matrix, the solution, that's solution design, but it's like the product requirements. It's your product requirements, and then when you go into more detail on that, you actually get the product design, product requirements for your MVP for whatever you're doing, your sales pitch, your traction roadmap stuff, your validation engine there. Any questions, anybody? Because I could talk about this stuff forever. And let's go to the next one. Okay. Now, this is tying the customer forces to sales funnel and marketing stuff. So this is representing you're getting awareness from your customer, you're getting consideration, and you're getting a decision. And so, and that's what these customer forces are getting people down your sales funnel to get them to make a decision. And so the prompt in the last phase, it gives you your ad copy, your social media hooks, landing page type stuff, email sequences, and your and your mafia offer. And so the difference between when you prompt, just normally you get content analysis. When you use the personalization layer of your LEANSTACK prompt, it's based on your cognitive engine and the user analysis. So core objective, let me get that back. The personalized LEANSTACK framework generated is not an analysis of content. It is an analysis of the user behind the content. The shift, by analyzing your entire prompting history, the system detects repetition, preferred output formats, and unfinished execution cycles to build its own logic to match how you naturally think, build, and operate. So it's literally copying your thinking pattern and to kind of help you move forward. So like seeing which one of these categories you fit in, and so that's the neat thing there. And then that founder's prompt toolkit, it's like this is all about finding what to do next. So you input your current state, and I am lost and overwhelmed. I need to talk to users. I have notes from users, and it'll tell you the next thing that you need to do. No matter what your situation is, if you give it the information, it's going to move you forward. Okay, signals versus noise, the evidence analyst. So the LEANSTACK method, it tells you whether it's noise, compliment or interest, but you're looking to have evidence. So commitments, urgency. And so this is the evidence scale. So like if you have assumptions and you get some clues, and then you start getting evidence, strong evidence, and then your behavior is when somebody actually buys or do something. So I think this is the last area. It's talking about AI as a mirror, the self-reflection. This is the most powerful thing you can do with AI is use it for self-reflection like a mirror. It'll tell you about yourself and help you improve yourself. So, running the universal prompts over your chat history tracks your cognitive evolution over time. And so the AI literally understands how you think based on how you prompt. And so you have recurring things you prompt about. And then it does the attention mapping, identifies the framework, industries, and goals you repeatedly reference to answer the question, where is my attention focused on? Yeah, the best thing you could ever do is get AI to understand your goals, and then it'll start working for you. And this tension and blind spot, I mentioned that earlier. You can learn so much from the tension. So like for example, you talking to a customer and they're not buying. You can use the prompt to analyze the tension between you and the customer to analyze why they're not buying. So that's I actually haven't used it in that way, but I've used it when I talk to, well, I guess I have used it in that way. I use it when I'm talking to interns. If the intern's not buying what I'm saying, I ask the AI, what is the tension between me and the intern or me and the founder? That's the this strategic compression. That's interesting. Forces the system to identify the single most important question you must resolve next to unlock your forward momentum. Yeah. So like I said, this stuff is just, this is what you get when you get these prompts, and in order to kind of help you move forward, and you're leveraging the AI to actually help you move forward. Yeah. Step one, Get your own personalized LEANSTACK prompt. Use this framework generator. Paste your goals up into our entire prompting history. So I never worry about pasting anything. I never worry about, just say use my entire prompting history and run the following thing. But when you paste that LEANSTACK just in there, it's already got it tells it to go ahead and use your whole prompting history. So it's a pretty neat thing. So you all ought to have some question. Anybody got any questions right now? Yeah. So, all right. If I'm going to keep going if you don't have any questions, but I just want you to understand what you may or may not be missing when you don't engage or be inquisitive about what's going on here. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again, but this time I'll play a video for you to help you understand what I just said, because that's what AI is good for, is synthesizing information and helping you move forward. So let's see what we got here. And this is why I like Notebook LM. I can talk all day about how to explain all these prompts to you. AI can actually do it much better. So here we go.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the true potential of artificial intelligence. Most of us are pretty used to treating AI like a basic tool, right? You type in a quick question, you get a quick, kind of generic answer back. But today, we're completely flipping that script. We're going to explore how you can transform your AI from a simple
Let me get that going back here.
answering machine into a highly personalized cognitive workflow. We'll be breaking down a really powerful framework that doesn't just help you design bulletproof business systems, but actually analyzes how you think.
Take a second and really think about your own habits here. Is your AI just scratching the surface? If you're basically using it like a glorified high-tech calculator to write a basic email or summarize a doc, you're literally missing out on its greatest capability. We are about to dive into a system that shifts your AI from being just another standard tool to acting as a deep mirror of reflection. We're going to teach it to understand your business, your customers, and ultimately, your own mind.
So what's fascinating here is the stark contrast between that surface-level AI and this deep iterative approach known as the LEANSTACK method. Standard AI outputs usually just toss you shallow summaries or handle simple one-off tasks. The LEANSTACK method, though, it operates on something called verbose discovery. That means you're demanding extremely detailed outputs, you're forcing iterative thinking, and you're generating highly structured artifacts instead of just getting a massive wall of text. It is literally the difference between asking for a quick tip and building a comprehensive living strategy.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the LEANSTACK method itself, move through business model design, and cover validation and marketing. After that, we'll test things out with practical prompts for founders, reflect on your prompt history, and finally, build out your personalized AI engine. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with part 1, the LEANSTACK discovery method. This is where we introduce the foundational philosophy driving this entire system. The crucial takeaway here is that these 5 principles demand deep, relentless exploration. Principle 1, train for verbosity. You've got to demand detailed reasoning, not just a simple answer. Number 2 is iterative thinking. After every single step, force the AI to ask, well, if we did that, what would this look like next? Instead of just accepting that generic first draft. Then we've got context continuity, which makes sure earlier outputs actually flow into the next step. Then creating clearly labeled structured artifacts. And finally, preserving the good copies. Move your best stuff to a secure document so you don't lose all that brilliant work when your chat session inevitably times out. Moving right along to part 2, designing the business model. This is where we take a raw idea and build out a true market strategy. Now, the source material details a super rigorous 27-step business design process, but at its core, any idea is going to journey through 3 main phases. You kick off with business model design, figuring out your stakeholders, zeroing in on pain points, and sketching out a lean canvas. Then you step into demand validation to stress test whether this thing is actually viable. Finally, you grab those validated insights and forge them into a marketing strategy. It's essentially a straight line from a founder's messy idea to a testable, market-ready campaign. And during that design and validation phase, what you're really building towards is what the playbook calls a mafia offer. Your goal here is to map out your customers' jobs to be done, their deep functional, emotional, and social motivations. Then you synthesize your absolute strongest features into an offer so compelling they literally can't refuse it. This means the output isn't just a basic product description. It has to include strategic pricing, risk reversal, like rock-solid guarantees, and specific friction reducers that make saying yes the absolute easiest choice for your buyer. Next up is part 3, demand validation and marketing. This bridges that gap from theory to execution. Let's break down how this creates a bridge between deep customer psychology and actionable marketing steps. The framework leverages customer forces. Think about the push of their current frustration, the pull of your shiny new solution, and the inertia or anxiety that's holding them back. You actually instruct the AI to map these exact forces to buyer emotions, assign them to a specific stage in your marketing funnel, and then generate a targeted marketing action. That way, you ensure that every ad headline, landing page, and email sequence is rooted in the actual psychological forces driving your target customer. Now for part 4, practical prompts for founders. It is time for a reality check as we shift from building the machine to testing it in the real world. I absolutely love this rule from the Founder Evidence Analyst prompt. Do not confuse compliments with commitments. As an entrepreneur, you have to confront this harsh truth when you're reviewing your customer discovery notes. People are going to tell you your idea is amazing just to be polite, but politeness doesn't pay the bills. When you feed your interview notes into the AI using this framework, it acts as an objective, totally unbiased analyst. It's designed to ruthlessly filter out the fluff and hand you the hard truth. This evidence analyst prompt forces you to separate the signal from the noise. Instead of just giving you a bland summary of a conversation, it actively hunts for specific behavioral proofs. It pulls out exact customer language so you can reuse it in your marketing. It tracks the current alternatives they're using because, hey, if they aren't actively trying to solve the problem right now, it's probably not a real problem. And most importantly, it scores your evidence to reveal if you have actual willingness to pay or just a bunch of unproven assumptions. It forces you to base your next moves on reality, not just founder optimism. Part 5 brings us to reflecting on prompt history. Here is where the twist happens. We are shifting from analyzing your business to analyzing your own cognitive blind spots. This is where the framework gets truly mind-bending. By feeding your own prompt history right back into the LLM reflection pack, the AI actually maps your thinking over time. It looks at your past prompts to pinpoint recurring themes and see where your attention is actually concentrated. It analyzes your recent evolution to track decision drift, those ideas you were super excited about but quietly abandoned. Finally, it looks toward future momentum by identifying a single strategic compression question. That's the one crucial question you need to resolve next to clear up the ambiguity and unlock actual progress. Finally, we reach part 6, personalizing your AI engine. We have officially reached the climax of this entire methodology. At this stage, the AI is essentially acting as your personal cognitive systems architect. It is no longer analyzing what you're working on, it's analyzing you. It extracts your behavioral patterns to see how you naturally operate. It builds a complete cognitive style profile. And crucially, it detects friction and loops. It finds exactly where you tend to overthink things, where you leave your execution cycles incomplete, and where you repeatedly lose your momentum. What's really fascinating here is how the AI conceptually profiles your thinking style. Based entirely on how you prompt, it might determine you're, say, 40% builder, 30% thinker, 20% operator, and 10% researcher. It figures out if you naturally lean towards systems or tasks, depth or speed. It basically asks itself, if I were optimizing this person's thinking for maximum output and leverage, what would I change? And then it uses that exact profile to rebuild its entire interaction model so it perfectly matches your natural workflow. Ultimately, the system generates 2 massive deliverables for you. First, a fully rewritten, personalized LEANSTACK method. It takes all those principles we discussed earlier, like verbose discovery and iterative thinking, and adapts them specifically to how you need to work. Second, it gives you a single, reusable, personalized prompt. This prompt becomes your personal analysis operating system. You plug it in before you even start working, and the AI instantly aligns with your exact cognitive style and business goals. It's a total game changer. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought today. If an AI analyzed your entire prompt history right now, what blind spots would it find? What abandoned projects, contradictory priorities, or unresolved tensions would it expose? The methods we've explored in this explainer show that while AI is absolutely incredible
at building business models, its ultimate value might just be in how it reveals the hidden mechanics of our own minds. It's time to stop using AI just as a calculator and start using it as a mirror. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer, and keep exploring.
Yes, I hope that was helpful to you. Let me stop the screen share. But yeah, so hope that explains a little bit better. But until you actually get involved and using those prompts, that's when you really understand. And so we share that with all those prompts with our founders, so that they can move forward with whatever they're working on and get the best use out of AI. So, any questions, anybody in the audience there, just about AI in general, or about just anything. So, like, for example, some questions I got today at the supplier development thing. This one founder I've been telling you about, he's got this beautiful AI system, got all these AI employees or AI agents, and they automatically switch between each other depending on what you need. But he's having trouble getting people to take a look at it, but once they take a look at it, they like it. But that's what that marketing, that demand validation I was telling you about. So is he trying to market it to the customer segment that's going to give him the most traction? And so anybody potentially could use the product, but you can't market to anybody. You got to find that particular early adopter that's going to give you the traction that you need to move forward. Yeah, so it's just, I go back to the same thing. Spent a lot of years working for the government, developing new technology projects, concepts, and to flight testing and stuff that never been did before. So we use a process, that R&D methodology, and I keep saying over and over again, if you want to have a successful startup, you have to use the entrepreneur method to kind of get you to these repeatable sales, and that's what demand validation. It's all about getting those repeatable sales and being able to predict the sales, to move forward. And AI is good at reverse engineering those processes and things like that. Yeah. So we're getting close here. I attend a lot of events, and I never take any notes or anything like that. And the event I attended today, so state of Florida, supplier development, and the old term was supplier diversity, but supplier development is just it's making you it's developing you to the point where you can actually do business with the government, local, county, state, and federal. And so I listened to a couple hours of presentations and just to do, but I always, record the presentation and get the transcript. I use a product called TwinMind, and I use that, and I think it's a small. They got a free version and a small one. But what I like about that, I can literally prompt that just like I prompt ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, but it prompts all the meetings that I've ever recorded, and I can pull, and I don't have to pay anything extra for prompting. So I was using my Fireflies the other day, and I've been using that for ever since it came out, 3, 4, 5 years. And that thing, you can prompt it, but it's going to charge you to prompt it. So I mainly use it just to get the transcripts. But I did spend some extra money to be able to prompt it, and it would literally go, getting that stuff out of those prompts and then analyzing it. Well, actually, the prompt I did, I actually just ran my Leanstacks prompt on all the stuff that it had recorded, in the 4 or 5 years I had been using it. So, yeah, I had to pay for it, but it was worth the money, I actually spent on it. And so it's kind of hard to understand the value of doing that. So one way I'm going to illustrate the value I want from the event I went to today, I didn't get any debriefings. I just got the audio, from the speakers. But I'm hoping I can get all the presentations so I can add that to later. And the good thing about that, the transcripts, sometimes they don't hear the names correctly, and so the transcripts are not perfect, but it does get it may pronounce a person's name wrong or whatever, or write it, just misspell a person's name just basically because it's got to figure out you'll see, yeah. So, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to show you the value of using transcripts and using Notebook LM. And this one thing I didn't do today, but I'll let's see. I want to share my screen again. Let's see. Oh, clicking the wrong thing. Got so many options here. Let's get the right stuff. So I'm going to share my screen, get my brain working here, and it's window, and go back to, so going to use sound this time, share. Okay, so I'm not going to use this notebook. So like I said, this notebook just got the prompts in it, so you can understand what I just showed you today. And so earlier today, I attended the event. It was a supplier development. And all I did, it was just downloaded the transcripts. I copied from TwinMind. It recorded and I just copied. It's basically 2 hours, almost 2 hours of stuff. Started recording at 9:20 this morning, and so let's see. So that one document, I developed all these artifacts over here, and I think a lot of people are not familiar with all the things that ChatGPT does. I mean, what Notebook LM does. It just put a list of all the speakers. I don't know if it spelled all their name right. Okay, they mentioned my name a couple of times. I guess but see, it spelled my name wrong. That's what I say. You have to. And so these were most of the speaker, and then so this is you can actually export this to Google Sheets. So it pulled out all that information and got the folks' cell number, because Michelle saw she actually gave the folks her cell phone numbers, over close to 200 people in the audience. So, so that was pretty cute. that became a joke. And then so that was there. And then I like this because it actually explained it. And when Notebook LM first came out, all it had was the audio and the mind map. So city leaders got up and spoke. The state people got up and spoke. All these different resources that talked about corporate sponsors and success stories. So that's just to give you a mental map, just from a 2-hour audio recording. It just maps out everything. Now, if I wanted to expand that, which one of these things is it? This one? Yep. And then I can blow it up, and so it just maps out the whole thing for me. So that's useful sometimes when you want to understand what the thing is all about. And I look at those in the beginning just to just to wrap my brain around what's going on. So no question. So that's the kind of way I use that. And then the next thing I look at, because just to kind of see what it actually how it maps everything. And so this particular thing, it's just an infographic. Broke it up into categories. Talk about relationship building. I think Michelle Salzman talked a lot about that. And she talked a lot about the state level advocacy, and you'll see it in the video I'll show you. And then talked about all the assistance that you can get from the SBDC. Talk to the state, explain the whole certification process for women-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned business there. And mind you, this is just from a transcript, no graphics or anything. And then just they explain how the state program works. Talked about a success story, a person that used these programs, and so that's a neat tool that you get out of it. And all this stuff was created, and all these documents that were created in less than 15 minutes, the videos and everything. So. And then the next level thing I look at, just to kind of get some understanding of what's going on, I look at this kind of stuff. The neat thing about these things, you can actually put your own prompts in these to create these things. You don't have to use the default things. So this was just a success story. National Energy got a small phase 1 grant that got phase 2 and then a phase 3, and all of this is in a matter of a couple of years, from $50K all the way up to over $2 million contract. And it mapped out the whole process. All of this is just from what was said. So for me, once I learned that I could get all this information from a transcript, I stopped worrying about video recordings or anything, because the AI literally can almost recreate what the charts from just what the people actually said. And so I hope that didn't do too much double talk in there. Let me show this video. That's what I should have did in the beginning instead of doing all that.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really fascinating recent business networking summit down in Pensacola, Florida. But we aren't just going to sit here and read off a guest list. No, we are taking the best insights, speeches, and presentations straight from that room to build you a comprehensive government contracting playbook. Look, whether you're a small local startup or you're already an expanding regional enterprise, government contracting can honestly feel like stepping onto another planet. But today, we're going to map out exactly how smart businesses are navigating the space and winning. All right, let's jump right in. So here is the $1 million question, isn't it? Or honestly, sometimes it's the multi-million-dollar question. If you have ever tried doing business with a government, you know exactly what I mean. It feels like an absolute storm of acronyms, endless online portals, and red tape that just seems impenetrable. It is overwhelming. But as we'll see from the experts and officials at this summit, there is a very clear step-by-step path to break through all that noise. It takes strategy, it takes compliance, and above all else, it takes knowing the right people. Okay, before we get into the weeds, I want to share this fantastic story from this summit told by Lance over at QSE Services. He talked about this hitchhiker standing on the side of the road, holding a cardboard sign that just said, "To Jackson." Now, as you can probably guess, nobody was pulling over. The sign was dry, it was purely factual, and it had zero emotion. But then, the hitchhiker flips the sign around and the other side reads, "To Moms for Christmas." Suddenly, people are hitting the brakes. Why? Because that message transformed from a basic geographic location into a totally relatable human story. And that perfectly captures the absolute core of business, even in the super rigid world of government contracting. Ultimately, you have one primary job: to connect. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. All right, so here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1, the value of connections; 2, unlocking state procurement; 3, navigating My Florida Marketplace; 4, leveraging some incredible free resources; and 5, a real-world GovCon success story. Starting with Section 1, the value of connections. When we hear networking, most of us instantly think of trading business cards with other vendors, right? But the summit focused heavily on connecting with actual elected officials and agency reps. State Representative Michelle Salzman spoke at the event, and she dropped this absolutely crucial insight. If you're a local business, your state actually controls your county and your city. Think about this. Roughly 80% of local city or county funding is tied directly back to state policies and state funding. That means if you're trying to land local contracts or funding or even property, the strings are almost always being pulled at the state level. Getting to know your state representatives isn't just polite, it's a completely necessary business strategy. And here is exactly how actionable the relationships can be. Representative Salzman gave a perfect example. Say you're a business and you are waiting on a vital license from the Department of Commerce. You've been stuck in bureaucratic limbo for months. Well, if you pick up the phone and call your state lawmaker, they can use their internal relationships to get that exact license approved in just 24 hours. No joke. They know exactly who to call, and the folks on the other end are usually eager to help a lawmaker solve a problem. Which brings us to Section 2, unlocking state procurement. So once you've made those connections, how do you actually enter the pipeline? Well, a massive advantage here is securing a specific business certification through the Office of Supplier Development, or OSD. We're talking woman, veteran, or minority-owned business designations. Caitlin, the executive director for the OSD, explained that her office is the one and only certifying entity for this in Florida. Now, the main rule here, your business has to be domiciled in Florida, and crucially, you must have at least 51% ownership by that specific designation. And they check. You have to actually be running the business. It can't just be a title on paper. Now, if you do meet that 51% threshold, the certification process is surprisingly straightforward. Caitlin broke it right down into 3 steps. First up, register your business in My Florida Marketplace. Second, double check your specific eligibility requirements because the paperwork you need for a veteran-owned business is definitely different from a minority-owned business. Finally, submit your formal request and documents through the portal. That's it. Once they get your file, approval takes about 30 days. And the best part, once you're approved, you are fully certified for 2 full years. Okay, so you've got your certification. Now you're looking at solicitations, which is just a fancy word for the government asking to buy your goods or services. You really need to understand the 2 main types here. Informal solicitations are for anything valued under $35,000. These are absolute gold for getting your foot in the door because agencies can actually reach out to you directly for these smaller buys. Formal solicitations, on the flip side, are for contracts over $35,000. Those require the whole 9 yards, strict bids, massive proposals, and formal invitations to negotiate. Moving on to Section 3, navigating My Florida Marketplace. All right, let's cut through some of the jargon you are definitely going to run into in this digital arena. First off, you'll hear SLED all the time. That just stands for state, local, and education, which are basically the types of entities buying from you. Then there is the UNSPSC. Total mouthful, I know. It stands for the United Nations Standard Products and Services Code. Essentially, it's just the massive directory of commodity codes the government uses to identify exactly what it is you sell. Ashley Jackson, a training specialist for the marketplace, explained how you actually use these codes. They work like a funnel, drilling down from super broad to highly specific. You start at the segment level, then it narrows to family, like say office supplies. Then it tightens to class, like desk supplies, and finally hits commodity, which is the exact item they want to buy. Now, Ashley had a massive warning for businesses here. You absolutely must select your codes down at the class or commodity level. If you just lazily list yourself under a broad segment, government buyers will literally never find you in their search results. You'll be invisible. Here is another highly specific but totally vital piece of data for your profit margins. When you win a state contract and you get paid through My Florida Marketplace, they take a transaction fee to keep the system running. Now, on the books, the rule says the fee is 1%, but current legislation actually actively lowered that fee to just 0.7%. Knowing these exact up-to-date percentages is so important when you are calculating your financial projections and putting together a competitive bid. Let's look at Section 4, leveraging free business resources. If everything we've talked about so far feels like a mountain of work, on top of, actually running your business, take a breath. You do not have to figure this all out alone. At the summit, Chip Wells highlighted 2 absolute powerhouse consulting groups available to you. The SBDC, or Small Business Development Center, is your go-to for general business health. They help with business plans, those tricky financial projections, and even disaster recovery.
Then you have the Apex Accelerator, which is purely focused on government contracting. They will hold your hand through federal SAM.gov registration, help you build capability statements, and get this, they will even review your solicitation responses before you hit submit to ensure you made any disqualifying mistakes. Oh, and the best part, both of these resources are 100% free. Chip also dropped this phenomenal piece of advice for businesses that are so eager to just wave their certifications around. He said, don't just lead with your certification, lead with your capacity and ease of business. Earning a blue star as a veteran-owned or minority-owned business is amazing, but it does not magically win you the contract. Remember, the buyers on the other end are real people who just have a problem they need fixed. You have to prove to them you've got the staff, the capacity, and the reliability to actually execute the job without causing them headaches. And finally, Section 5, a government contracting success. Let's see what happens when you combine all these playbook steps together in the real world. John Switzer, the CFO of National Energy, shared their incredible story. They're a defense tech company trying to divert 95% of trash away from landfills by converting organic waste into engineered fuel. Talk about proving your capacity. John contrasted the old hazardous way of sorting trash, where human workers pick out maybe 30 items a minute, with their new tech, AI robotics accurately grabbing 68 items per minute, working 24/7 with zero benefits paid out. It was a clear, undeniable solution to a big problem. So how did they convince the government to buy it? Well, they started small, using the SBIR program. That's the Small Business Innovation Research Program. They got a $50,000 Phase 1 grant just to prove the concept worked. From there, they pitched Eglin Air Force Base and actually landed $900,000 for Phase 2 research to design a massive system. But here's the twist. Eventually, the Air Force passed on buying the final finished product. So what did National Energy do? Did they give up? Nope. They went right back to step 1 of our playbook, networking. They flew out to a Defense Tech Connect conference in Austin. John bumped into a Navy representative, asked for literally just 5 minutes of his time, explained how their tech could solve a massive trash issue the Navy was dealing with in the Florida Keys, and completely won the guy over. And what was the result of that single 5-minute face-to-face connection? A massive $2 million direct to Phase 2 contract with the United States Navy. Right there is true ROI of the GovCon playbook. By mixing a highly capable product with relentless face-to-face networking, they turned a great idea into a multi-million-dollar reality. And that brings us full circle. As we've seen throughout this explainer, government contracting isn't just about staring blindly at spreadsheets or clicking through confusing portals. It's about knowing the system, leaning on free resources, and above all else, making genuine human connections. It's about flipping your sign from 2 Jackson to 2 moms for Christmas. The infrastructure is already built, the funding is literally sitting there waiting, and the agency reps actually want you to win. So I leave you with this. What will your business's next big connection be? Go out there, make the call, and start writing your own playbook. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.
All right. I hope that was helpful. And I just did that just to illustrate how you can leverage AI to take notes for you, and then you can leverage Notebook LM to actually bring the stuff to life. But typically, what I do is I didn't actually show you. I normally take one other step, but this particular thing, since it was just straightforward information, I didn't bother to analyze it. But typically, what I would do is I would take let me get this out of the way. I would take this source over here, and I would go ahead and put it in Notebook LM. But what I would also do is I would use my Lenika prompt to analyze it, and that's kind of that's basically what I would actually do, and then that way I would put the results of the analyzing in my Lenika thing there. So that I just want to make sure you understand that's what I do, because if this was something AI generated, I would definitely before I generated all these assets over here, I would literally analyze it and put the results of the analyzation in this and go forward. In some cases, what you want to do is you maybe even just want to take the results of using your LEANSTACK prompt to analyze it and just put that in the notebook. Any last minute questions before we sign off here? And if you want me to, I could potentially demonstrate how I would potentially use my LEANSTACK prompt to analyze it. So let me find that transcript real quick here. If you just bear with me, go to Twin Minds and grab that, and I'll just show you what I would normally do. And it's forcing me to log in, so just give me 1 second. I'll show you how I use the LEANSTACK prompt. I'll take that transcript. Let me find it real quick. Share my screen. I don't read the transcripts or anything like that. I literally just go straight to the analyzation phase. So let me see, can I bring my chat GPT up here real quick, just to kind of give you an idea how the LEANSTACK prompt actually works. I don't need any sound or anything. Let's see. So here's a blank chat GPT screen right here. And this is some stuff that chat GPT does. So since it knows all about my calendar, I got a meeting in the morning. So it's just preparing, yeah. So it understands what's going on in my life. And chat is just for doing the chatting, but you want it to actually do tasks, you switch over to work. So I'll say this is my prompt. So ChatGPT knows about my LEANSTACK system. So I typically, you don't have to say please run the following transcript through, because it knows my LEANSTACK prompt or my LEANSTACK system already, and through my LEANSTACK system. So mine has grown from a prompt to a system, and so I'll do paste that transcript in there that was used to do that, and so I just leave all this set high. I don't change any of that stuff. So it knows about my prompt. If it didn't know about my prompt, I would attach my prompt to this thing just by attaching a file right here, and then like if I wanted to do deep research, I would do that. And so, like for example, I attached that there. If I wanted it to create an image based on what that transcript about, I could do that. But I'm not doing that. And here's the deep research stuff there. Okay, so and so since I got it on high, and I don't see the thinking stuff here, but I'll just go ahead and run it just to give you an idea of how I use my LEANSTACK prompt to kind of go. And so since I'm using so mine, I'm using this high level, so you could actually dial that down lower or up higher. I didn't realize it was set halfway. So it's telling you what it's thinking about. So it's saying, I'll run this through my LEANSTACK pass, I won't just do a transcript summary. Then it says reviewing your LEANSTACK system structure, evidence, and rules and output pattern. So it's aware of my deal there. So it's saying that the pattern is clear, already clear, and now it's actually producing the results of that supplier development exchange. So it's finding out all this stuff, going through this LEANSTACK, sort of hidden implications, and so it goes out and verify if the stuff that was said is true. It literally goes out and researches the web to see if what was said was true. So you see it saying it verified the supplier certification stuff that it talked about. It verified the fee that they charge. It don't take it for granted. It literally goes out to the web and researches to that. And so that's what I'm telling you. So when you research, when if you have a business pitch or whatever, it goes out and actually, and you haven't analyzed it, actually goes out and do it. So it's saying they said 247 people registered, so it wasn't able to find the evidence for that, and so it's saying validation needed. Yeah, and let's see, so 5 assumptions hidden inside the event. Give business more information than they need to become procurement ready. Certification creates contracting opportunity. Registration makes business discoverable. Okay, and it's got that in the strongest pattern. Procurement is an ecosystem, not a transaction. Relationship signals are stuff that that may happen in the future. So it's giving you relationship capital remains important despite all the digitalization. Apex is potentially highest leverage human intervention point. Timing is itself a procurement capability. Nationality provides a particular valuable founder story. Hidden structure, so it goes in and finds all the hidden patterns in that transcript. And system gap, system translation. So this is all from just a little 2-hour AI opportunity. Oh, okay, it's telling me what some opportunities in that I can actually learn from that. So I work for the Cuckoo Institute, and we also do like the for the chamber, we have a brand called Startup Source, but it's literally extracting what can be reused for those 2 things. So it's saying a market fit assessment, possible questions to determine government market fit, readiness layer, supplier, government, opportunity ready, ecosystem coordinator model. So you see this LEANSTACK prompt is literally crazy. LEANSTACK difference outcome capture. So what is this? So imagine 100 people. Oh, it's okay. It's just telling you what the difference is. 100 companies attend a procurement training. You get this kind of information, data and stuff, measurement implications. But you can see how crazy this is. So most people would just take that transcript and say, what are the key takeaways? What are the insights? And I typically, before LEANSTACK, I would just say, I would prompt, what are the key takeaways from the transcript? What are the key insights? And what actions I could take based on that insight. So reusable patterns. So it's telling me how I could actually reuse that stuff. And it's also doing the strategic conclusion, recommended next action. So based on that information, it's saying that it can actually create a Pensacola government market and supplier framework. So it's telling me I can actually create something and it'll create it for me. That's what's so neat about this. Yeah. So I can literally just say proceed, or because it knows what the next action, and it'll literally generate that framework. So that's how crazy that Lanika stuff is. So don't, when I'm saying we providing you with this stuff, and so yeah, it's literally crazy the power of these prompts and stuff. So don't take for granted. All I'm trying to tell you is that we're here every Thursday night, and you can attend this thing if you want to, but if you don't gauge and say, and let us know what you're trying to accomplish, because we got a lot of tools that you actually can actually use to help grow your business. And so just try to understand that. So it's literally got this framework that it created that I can share with you all as founders. So this is how I use AI. So yeah, but the Lanika prompt, it knows what I'm interested in. It already knows, and so it goes looking to see what's in that information that can be using. This framework is saying it could access if you're ready to do business with the yep. So that's what AI is. When AI knows your goals, it can actually create stuff to help you move forward. Let's see. I'm going to get off here in a second, but I just kind of wanted to help make sure you understand how I use the Lanika stuff. Yeah, and so and really, this, you see how much information is generating. So I literally would copy this and paste it into Notebook LM, just to have it analyze it and explain it back to me, because it's just a lot of information. So let's see if it recommended anything else. So it's telling you what it would do next. It could do a 20-question founder scorecard, an intake form, blah 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 blah, and so I could say proceed, but like sometimes sometimes it'll put information. So this will be my last thing, I promise. I'll say, please run my Lanika system so my Linux thing went from a prompt to an engine to a system. Please run my Linux system on this entire prompt thread, a chat thread. So I'm just doing this example. I wouldn't necessarily do this on this particular thing. And so it's going to get my Lanika prompt and it's going to run it on this whole thing. So it's like recursing back to it, and it's doing another thinking on that. So I didn't, you see how you don't have to actually give it the input. You just tell it what the input is, and it'll get the input. So it said that it's rerunning on the entire prompt there. It's searching websites to validate what it said. Yeah, how crazy is that? So it's not trusting its own output. It's actually going checking its own output and giving you the results of that. So that's how you you don't this thing literally checks everything that the AI outputs, and I could actually have it reanalyze this again to double check, triple check, just to be sure that it's getting the right information. So I hope that wasn't overkill, and you see this thing is still running. And that's why I use the Notebook LM, because it's a lot of information to take time and read. So I just use the AI to analyze the information to kind of go forward. And so this is how you stop all these large language models, stop them from lying to you, and making sure that the AI is actually telling you the truth. So join our Founders Insight program, and you get all this stuff just from being a member of our Founders Insight program. And so just for engaging with us and all the stuff we've learned over the years, you get access to it. But like I'm saying, if you don't engage, you don't get, and so everything I told you here tonight, you don't have to pay anything for. It's just what we're doing to through our sponsors to help you move forward and grow your business. Don't not engage. It's just crazy. I spent all these years developing all this stuff to support founders, and so you can be satisfied with wherever you are, but you got to be curious. You got to engage. So if you see the Kakua Institute symbol, KUKUA Institute.org, but you just go apply.kakuainstitute.org, and you get in our Founders Insight program, and you get access to these prompts I've been showing you. Right, so I showed you what the prompts are about, and I showed you what they can do for you, and I did an example just on something that happened to today. And yep, so that's, once AI knows what you're trying to do, it literally will create stuff for you. I've had that done before, and it creates prompts, a series of prompts that you can use to do research. Whatever you're trying to do, you just tell it what you want to do. And people approach me all the time. Like a guy approached me today at the conference. He said, he's spending so much money on his prompts in Claude. So I told him, just have Claude analyze his prompts to make them more efficient. It's literally that simple. Yeah, you just, anything you could ask anything about, you just discuss it with the AI, and it'll help you do. That's what understanding what AI is. It's just like your brain. When you set your mind to something, you go figure out how to do it. If you tell the large language models what you're trying to do, it'll figure out how to do it for you. You're just spinning your wheels if you don't understand that it's trying to do the same thing your brain does. And you have to figure out things. The AI will figure it out for it, but you need something like that LeAnitra thing to make sure what it's telling you. And because when I say LeAnitra stops the AI from lying, it literally goes out and research everything that AI outputs, and make sure and tells you if it's verified or not, so you know if you can trust it or not. So what more could you ask for to get the help you need to move forward? Now you can analyze the transcripts from this particular thing. That's how crazy stuff is. It's just, you could learn so much. It's just unbelievable. But the key is you're learning to turn that into revenue. Insights is what drives innovation. That's when you can get the insights out of talking to customers, all these things, you're learning faster, and so you can actually move forward. So that's what I'm trying to communicate to you. You don't have to use AI like a vending machine. You can use it like a mirror. You can use it to help you as a thinking partner, on and on. All right, see you all next week. And I guess you all can tell I'm a little excited talking about this stuff, but I appreciate you all checking in, and just leverage these tools to grow your business. And we'll see you next week. We got a great founder coming on next week, so just look forward to that. Take care. Bye-bye.